Hello there! The console war may be over, but PlayStation players still expect flagship games to look forward to. So every year we run through a bunch of games that have PlayStation exclusivity, from the first-party juggernauts to the indie darlings, and everything in between. Do me a favour and let me know your top 3 games so I can plan to cover them in more detail. Let's do this! Let's begin with Sucker Punch, the creators of the amazing Ghost of Tsushima, and the next entry in that series, Ghost of Yotei. The open-world action-adventure in which we play as a samurai pursuing vengeance will take us to a new location, Hokkaido. This time we play as Atsu, a female warrior who adopts the mantle of the ghost and can decide on 2 courses of action: to be honourable and fight head-on, or stick to the shadows and use cunning and trickery to get the upper hand. In the trailers we've already seen new animals which look friendly, I think, and new weapons to master like a Kasurigama, as well as more conventional katanas. Can you remember the first time you swept your thumb across the touchpad and the wind guided you in the right direction? Ghost of Tsushima was a very special game, and Ghost of Yotei plans to upgrade on every part of that experience when it drops sometime in 2025, only on PS5. Also coming this year is Death Stranding 2 On the Beach. The original game saw us walk across the United States, reconnecting humanity while trying our best not to drop boxes on the floor. It was a very strange walking simulator, to say the least, which grew into a complex story about babies that can see the dead and rain that ages anything it touches. This time around, things are even more bizarre, with a living puppet Sam wears on his hip. And check out the bad guy of the game, he has a guitar as a weapon. Trying to sum up Death Stranding 2 is going to be very difficult indeed. Oh, it should be noted that Death Stranding's ownership has now transferred from Sony to Kojima Productions, meaning PlayStation is no longer in control of the title. We expect DS2 to have a similar agreement in place, but if I'm completely honest, I think this needs to be open to more platforms as soon as possible, because the setup is quite niche to say the least. Time will tell, I'll be buying it. Death Stranding 2 comes to PlayStation 5 this year. Coming on May 30th is Lost Soul Aside, a game best described as Final Fantasy meets Devil May Cry. The combat blends high-speed mobility with brutally stylized combos, both with blade in hand or devastating ranged attacks. This isn't just button bashing, as aerial dodges and perfectly timed counters are key to victory. We also have customizable loadouts to shape our hero's fighting style as we see fit. The potential of Lost Soul Aside could be boundless, on an epic odyssey to save our sister and humanity from dimensional invaders. Lost Soul Aside hits PS5 and PC on May 30th, making this one a console exclusive. Coming even sooner is another PlayStation remaster. This time it's Days Gone Remastered. If you missed this the first time round, we play as a biker named Deacon who survives daily in this world plagued by a zombie-like virus. The game received mid-reviews back in 2019 for its bland world and weak story, yet this update adds new features like a survival horde mode with more of the undead on screen than ever before, and a speedrun and permadeath mode for you sick people out there. And you should know, those that owned the PS4 version can upgrade to this new PS5 version for only $10. This update also drops on PC on the same day, April 25th, so this is a console exclusive. Have you seen Phantom Blade Zero? How amazing does it look? We play as an elite assassin who is framed for a murder he didn't commit and only has 66 days to prove the truth as a mysterious order hunts him down. The combat looks visceral and incorporates the environment around us, whether that's as a shield, for traversal, or weaponizing everyday objects. Over 20 types of weapon have already been confirmed, from axes to hammers, from cannons to lances, and of course our trusty sword-like blades, each with a different fighting style to master as the weight of the weapon impacts gameplay. Unique boss fights have been showcased and oh my god, they look phenomenal. But what about the dates? Well, we have conflicting reports, as the Year of the Snake is mentioned, which is 2025, and also Fall 2026 has been bandied about. I'll update the info below as soon as we know. Phantom Blade Zero is a console exclusive. 2025 should be the year we finally get to play Baby Steps. Revealed almost 2 years ago now, we play as Nate, a useless gamer living in his parents' basement. He begins to walk, and that's the game. If you've played Co-op or Octodad or Getting Over It, you'll get the appeal here. Our coordination is flawed, balance isn't our strong suit, and putting one foot in front of the other isn't easy for us. With muddy and slippy terrain to hike through, one slip and hours of progress will be lost in an instant. A guaranteed infuriating game. Officially Baby Steps is coming out in 2024, but as it's 2025 now, I'm guessing that date has been revised. So it's now coming whenever it's ready on PlayStation 5 and PC. On June 13th, the next installment of Five Nights at Freddy's drops, and to my surprise, it's yet another console exclusive, the 11th mainline entry that asks us to survive in a poorly lit horror-filled jump-scare nightmare world, where animatronics constantly try to kill us. This time, the Mimic, a prototype endoskeleton that can adapt to any costume and become any character, especially the thing you fear the most. So no thank you! I've never played through a FNaF game because they scare the crap out of me. But if you're more manly than I am, this heart-pounding thrill vest comes to PlayStation and PC on June 13th. A game the entire community is dying to see is Wolverine. Marvel's tiny hairy Canadian was announced in 2021, and a great little vignette showed us Logan at a bar following a brawl. But then disaster struck as an info breach leaked out very early gameplay footage and ruined Insomniac's 10-year plan. FYI, this is not the game right now, but we are expecting a third-person Wolverine with wall climbing and a more mature focus thanks to his clawed hands. The levels of violence will be more akin to God of War than Spider-Man. Logan's skill set includes an incredible sense of smell to hunt down his prey, and of course, his healing factor should come in handy very often. Wolverine is expected to be the most mature themed Marvel game PlayStation have ever made. Oh, and there was a hint to the Hulk being in the game in the trailer too, just here. Analysts predict Wolverine will be showcased this year and released in 2026. A game confirmed for 2026 now, it's Saros. All we have so far is a cinematic trailer which confirms one thing: bullet hell. It's been a few years now since the brilliant Returnal was released, and Housemarque are back, taking that gameplay loop of life and death like a roguelike game, and the bullet hell of pretty much their entire back catalogue, and starting afresh with the threat of an ominous eclipse. The blurb tells us each of our deaths reshapes the world in a haunting story. It will be set in third-person perspective, so Returnal fans, you should rejoice. Saros is going to be a full PlayStation 5 exclusive. A little further away is Naughty Dog's next groundbreaking game, Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet. Like Saros, we only have a single trailer to base information on. We've seen a sci-fi world with humanity living amongst the stars. We play as Jordan, who is searching for a crime syndicate. And if her laser sword is anything to go by, we're going to see a great deal of action. It's also hinted that we will navigate in space in our own vehicle. Development began in 2020, and director Neil Druckmann spoke of his desire to only reveal the project when it was closer to release compared to their other games. So let's try and guess now, when will Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet drop? Are you going 2026, 27 or 28? What do you reckon? And of course, we're expecting Intergalactic: The Heretic Prophet to be a PlayStation exclusive. Next, a game I've been looking forward to, Ballad of Antara, a free-to-play action RPG for up to 3 players online. It can be played solo as well. A mythical force has invaded Antara through a linked dimension, corrupting the land, and we can cross that barrier between 2 worlds in the hopes of uniting the lands, but more realistically, beating up anyone who crosses our path. It appears Ballad of Antara is a gacha-like game, unlocking characters as we go, but that is a guess based on emissaries, which are the playable characters who all have unique skills, like an archer, a staff warden, and this guy who bludgeons everything. Ballad of Antara is set to drop in 2025 on PlayStation 5 and PC and mobile, with a playable beta coming very soon. Yet another console exclusive now, and another free-to-play game. It's Ananta, an urban open world that takes aspects from games you love and smushes them into anime GTA. The free-flowing web-slinging of Spider-Man, crossed with an arcade racer, packed with mini-games, and pinned together with addicting combat and parkour. The trailers have continually impressed for years now, but alas, no release window yet for Ananta. The blending of everyday realism with absolutely insane sci-fi elements is growing the Ananta fanbase daily. We find out more in the second half of 2025. Take a look at the Midnight Walk. These are handcrafted visuals using clay. In the Midnight Walk, we play as Potboy with the flame on our head lighting the way, with first-person shooting mechanics set around a chilling adventure filled with horror and stealth, as everything here wants to devour us. The Midnight Walk comes to PS5, PC and VR, which means PSVR 2 finally gets some more love, coming sooner than I thought, on May 8th. Another game due to release imminently is The Midnight Murder Club, a 6-player first-person shooter set in the dark. I've spoken about this before, as it should have been released in February. Essentially, Midnight Murder Club is a deadly game of hide and seek, as each player has a gun and a flashlight. Using the light lets us see and walk around without face planting into walls, but also reveals our position. Oh, and when a bullet is fired, the trajectory shines for all to see, leading back to the person who fired it. Coming this month on PlayStation 5 and PC, so this is another console exclusive. A mobile game that looks hella eye-catching is Unending Dawn. It's yet another game gunning for the mantle of anime Dark Souls, yet previewers have claimed it's more of a crossover of Genshin Impact and Sekiro, so I guess that means it's a gacha. The open world is fraught with danger, and the more I look at it, I'd say Unending Dawn is more akin to Elden Ring. Coming in 2025 to PS5 and mobile, and we're expecting a PC version too. Showa American Story is confirmed for 2025, yet another PS5 and PC outing. And it's insane. We play as a resurrected stunt woman in a version of reality where Japan has colonized America. This world is filled with zombies and the combat is ultra gory and designed to resemble the old American B-movies of yesteryear. It's a little Dead Rising, it's a little Lollipop Chainsaw with a sprinkling of Yakuza. Set in an open world, we live in a trailer and can whip out our motorbike to cover long distances quickly, which is handy as there will be side quests everywhere. Showa American Story is a single-player action RPG coming to PC and PlayStation 5 this year, yet another console exclusive. Another game with the sword is Sword of the Sea, yet this sword isn't for fighting, it's for traversal, like a hoverboard. The art style screams Journey to me, and Giant Squid, the devs behind the game, excel in these sort of zen-like games featuring relaxed exploration. Yet this time, it looks like Tony Hawk's is also the inspiration. Coming this year, there is still no fixed date, but we do know it's coming to Steam as well, so this is another console exclusive. After a shaky 2024, PlayStation is not giving up on its live service ambitions, and that means we'll soon see more footage of Fairgame. Yep, that really is a $sign. A competitive heisting game which is coming to PS5 and PC this year, making this another console exclusive. So far, we've only seen a CG trailer, yet we're promised a modern take on the heisting genre, thieving from the ultra-rich like a gun-toting Robin Hood. Will Fairgame be another cancelled live service from Sony, or will it be successful and follow in Helldivers' footsteps? We'll find out later this year. Okay, over to PlayStation's China Hero project, which helps Asian devs realize their dreams, like Stellar Blade last year. AI Limit follows in the footsteps of Code Vein, blending anime visuals with a Souls-like single-player RPG. The industry is being overwhelmed by Souls-likes right now. This one releases in March. Another upcoming Souls-like action RPG is Daba Land of Waterscar. Set in a world on the brink of collapse, the player controls a humanoid clay puppet on a quest to trace water fragments scattered throughout the world. Sounds bizarre for sure, and yep, it certainly looks like another Souls-like. Another Souls-inspired game is Project the Perceiver, yet this one will be a fully open world. Combat draws inspiration from Sekiro with perfect parries and counters in place, set around a war in which we are a lone warrior. But there are some games that aren't Souls-like Exiledge, a frantic third-person shooter that looks to me very similar to the first Descendant. Which also reminds me of Convallaria, a co-op online shooter which we are assured is still being worked on in the China Hero project. There are so many more games we didn't have time to look at, from Wonderstop to Arknight Enfield, from Hideo Kojima's new Fizzint espionage game to the Star Wars KOTOR remake, and whatever happened to Little Devil Inside. There are also games we know about but aren't officially revealed yet, like the Horizon multiplayer game, so it's safe to say Sony will have more to show us later in the year, and hopefully more first-party games. Do me a favour if you would, and leave your top 3 most hyped for games in the comments. I'm Adam, you're awesome, it's been a pleasure, see ya!